Hello and very good evening, everyone. I'm Ayush, team manager of Rudra SRM Mass Rover. We are here to present our third webinar of our webinar session, uh, which is on the topic of design and assembly using SolidWorks. First of all, I would like to thankful to everyone whoever joined the webinar. Please wait. Um, uh, please wait for more 2 minutes. Few people are yet to become, and please keep your mic muted. Thank you. So the wait is over, and we are going to start our session. And Fenil and Himange are today's speakers. And guys, free feel to drop your question in the chat box. We are going to solve it in the end of the webinar. Thanks for waiting. Enjoy the webinar.
So yeah,
Yes, Fenil, you are
I'm
audible.
audible clearly.
You can continue.
Ayush? Yeah, fine, fine. Okay. So a very good afternoon to everyone who is present here. So today we are talking about the product designing and the assembly using SolidWorks. So me, Fenil Bamnulia, and the Hemangi Sudani, who is research lead, and me is the mechanical lead of the team Puja. So let's begin with the topic. Yeah. So what are the steps involved in the product designing? So there are standards followed by the industry. So, but the standardized step is vary to the like product to product and the industry to industry. So here we have elaborated the steps to make you understand better. So we'll talking about the each and every steps in the upcoming slides. So, yeah, to have to design any product, you first need to know about the requirements of the product, like what are the needs in the market, like what problem it is going to solve. So from that you will get the purpose of your product, right? So in our case, here we have taken the robotic arm as an example. So throughout this session we will be working on this one, and by comparing all the parameters that we will discuss by considering this example. So in our case, so basic requirement of the robotic arm is the at the end of the arm there will be one gripper which could able to perform the several tasks, and there are multiple components which we need to consider during the process. So after knowing the requirements, we have one concept design sheet. So we'll like just put it in on the pen paper and the each, so that we get clear idea about our product, how it's going to look like, and it is basically like uh, initial idea. So conceptual design that we make, and after the conceptual design we will be limiting the limits that we face during the product design. Like for all the designs you don't have all the resources and available around you. So the material availability and the manufacturing process and the budget limitation, these are the main parts of the resources that we are going to consider, and the how well and how good your product is, how good and how long your product can sustain in the life cycle and without being failed. So this comes under the reliability, and how your product are can impact on the environment. So it comes under the sustainability. Impact on the environment will be minimal, so they can't you know disturb the environment, and without disturbing the environment we can proceed with our manufacturing. So yeah, and your
I'm
product must
sorry to
have be
interrupt, Anil.
the like
Your voice is not
economical so
clear.
that everyone
I'm sorry to interrupt, Anil. Your voice is
allow.
not clear. Yeah. Hello. Yeah, Anil, can you please repeat
Okay,
this?
now I'll check.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. So after the conceptual design, we have the limitations, right? So what are the limitations we need to mainly focus is availability of the material, then multiple clients and manufacturing which is available around you, and the budget limitations. So it's under the resources and the how long and how well your product perform without damage. So it comes under the reliability. How your product is going to impact on the environment. So it should be a minimal impact so that we can process without interrupt the environment around us. So it comes under the sustainability. And our product is the like economical so that everyone can afford, and the operational from the maintenance cost will be as low as possible. And yeah, of course, the manufacturing cost too. So yeah, so we have some limitations for that. So if I consider the requirements and the limitations, I'm going to calculate the parametric, geometrical parameters. So in our case, like we are designing the arm, right? So in our case, we will consider the moment and forces which is acting on the body, and from that we'll run several kinematics and dynamic study, and from where we will get the dimensions and the geometrical parameter of our product. Yeah. So after the deciding the geometrical parameter, it's time to make it virtual real, like in virtual environment. So basically, for the initial design, we are using the computer-aided software. One is the most famous is the SolidWorks. So here I would like to call Hemangi to continue with the initial design.
Yeah, hello guys, I'm Hemagi. So I'll be giving a brief introduction of basic tools in SolidWorks that can prepare you for a good start. So to be clear, it's just a brief introduction and not a detailed tutorial of SolidWorks. Yeah, so first when you'll open SolidWorks window, you'll have this pop-up tab that will have three different windows. One is part, which is used for creating 3D solid bodies and parts. Then next one is assembly, where you'll assemble all the 3D bodies and part that you have created. And then there's drawing to create draft sheets of the parts for manufacturing purpose. So for now, I'll be going on the part. Yeah, so before you get confused, I'll just tell you what are these panels here and what is their functions. So on the left side, the panel, it's called a feature manager and design tree, and there are also other configuration manager and property manager and all, but you don't need to go into that right now. So this is the feature manager. The main thing here is to the planes, front plane, right plane, top plane, and the origin, which is the basic to start a sketch. Also, before you start designing, choose your unit systems. On the bottom right, you can see there are various imperial and metric standard unit systems available, and I find MMGS very convenient, so I'm going to continue with that. Okay, so first thing is to sketch, to make a 2D sketch, I need to go into a plane and make a sketch there, and then I can extrude it into a 3D body. So first I'll go into any of this plane, uh, go into the sketch. Now I'm into this plane. Now I can start making a sketch. These are the tools that you'll use for sketch. And for example, I'll make a circle here. There are various default shapes available that you can start your sketch from, and this is the smart dimension feature. using which you can give dimensions to your entities that you've created. Okay, so I'm going to give some dimension here. Uh, Now, see, if I make another circle anywhere on the plane, it will be a blue circle. But this one here is black as it is constrained. Any sketch that you make has, like it can move freely, like this circle can move free around because it is not constrained relative to the origin. Also, the diameter is not given. So if I give this some diameter, it is still blue. I need to constrain it with relative to the origin. So the x distance and the y distance. So now it is black. So it's important to constrain your sketch before you are done and exit the sketch. So for example, I want to convert this sketch into a 3D body. So here is the features toolbar that I can go to. And there are these basic features that you can use to create a 3D body. For now, I'll be using extruded base. Now I can extrude this circle into whatever length of cylinder that I want. You can give it any dimension that you want from here. Okay, so now if you want to create something else on this body, there are two ways. Either you can choose any of this plane, or you can insert a plane from the reference geometry here, or any of the flat surfaces that you have on the body can also work as a plane. So I can directly go onto this surface and sketch. So I don't need to generate a new plane to make a new sketch. And one of the important thing here is convert entities. I can use convert entities to basically replicate that shape onto this plane. So now I have this circle on this plane. I'll be making a like I'll be extruding this again. Now from the sketch, now I can go to the features and extrude this. Extrude has many different options. For example, I can extrude at an angle. So it will converge to an angle of 20 degree here. So this is done. Next is cutting. Now I've created a solid body. For example, I want to make some holes in this body. So in features, these features are used to cut out things. Yeah, so for example, I want holes on this surface. I'll go on this surface and use sketch. Now I'm in that plane. I can create a hole here. Now I want 8 holes like this. So instead of making one every circle again and again, there are some really time-saving features like a circular pattern here. I can just select the sketch, give the number of repetitions, and it will create 8 circles here. I don't need to make every. Also, I'm not giving dimensions right now due to the time constraints, but you can give accordingly, like however you want. And yeah, the cut feature. I can just select the extruded cut and make it through the solid body. And now I have this. Okay, so this took me 2 sketches and 2 different features to make this body. Now, if I had to make this in one go, I can also do that. Just see this, the side view of this part, right? I can just create this sketch and revolve it around the center axis and create the whole sketch in one go. So first I'll go in any plane. I create a sketch, something like that, this one. Also, when you are drawing something, when you are making a sketch, you will have this quick snap points. For example, I can see here, this is the midpoint of this line. So it makes it easier when you are just like you don't have to give dimensions to that. I can directly go to the midpoint and snap it there. So for now, I'll go to features. There's this feature called revolve base. I will select the axis that I want to revolve it around, and it has created this solid body. Yeah, so as you can explore more, as you'll more explore more, you can find new ways to create these parts quickly. So after creating a part, you need to give it material for the further analysis or whatever. So here on the feature manager, there is this material tab. You can go and edit material, and it will take you to the default SolidWorks materials library where you can choose materials from. Like there are range of different materials here. I'll apply steel for now. Yeah. Uh, Fillet is one of the important features here. When you are designing, especially when you are designing parts for 3D printing, you want to avoid the edges and corners. So you can like fillet is a good tool that you can use in 2D as well as in 3D to avoid the sharp edges and all. One important toolbar here is evaluate. Uh, for example, this measure where I can measure the radius, surface area, diameter of any of the parts here. Then there's this mass property. It provides me with all the information of the product related to its mass and geometrical conditions. For example, density, volume, surface area, even the moment of inertia relative to the origin and all. There are some other specific toolbars that are made for some specific designs. For example, surfaces. So there are some complex parts that are not easy to make using just sketch and features. So surfaces provides you, for example, mouse. Due to the ergonomics of the mouse and the 3D curves that it has, it's not easy to make using the normal features. So you can first create surfaces in 3D with 3D curves, and then you can convert that into solid body. Next is sheet metal. So here you can see I have created, when you're creating parts from a sheet metal, what happens is see, here I have just made a box where I have extruded the surface on this surface, right? So there's no bend here. It is created just like that. But if I use sheet metal, you can see that it also considers the extra material that it needs to bend. So when you are specifically designing some product using only sheet metals, then this tool can help a lot. And then after I'm done designing it, I can also unfold it. So directly it gives me like the tracings of the cutouts that I need to make. So it makes the whole process less complex. Next is weldments. Weldments, when you have to create some structured product like a frame of something, like a table frame, like this. So if it would be really time consuming if you make each and every part of this and then assemble it into the assembly window. So weldments allows you to make, like it has default structural members, so you can directly make a 3D, like for example, I just had to make this 3D sketch and then use any of the default structural member that was given there, and I can make this relatively quickly. Uh, the other thing is simulation. SolidWorks allows you to perform some basic simulations like static stress simulation, thermal and fatigue stress simulations, from which you can decide whether your part is ready to be assembled or not. So I'm going to show you a part from the arm that you saw earlier. Yeah. So this is the part where, here the motor will be connected, and this is the part where link is connected. So this is the connector of the arm, and here you can see the feature manager keep records of all the features that I have used on this part, and I can roll back to any of that stage. For example, how I started, there was just this one cylinder. From that, like how you can see how it progressed to the part that it is now. You can edit any of this feature at any of the time by going to the rollback stage. So yeah, this part first we had made this part, and then we had to perform a static stress analysis on this part. So I'll show you the results of that analysis here. Yeah, this was the initial part. Then in the first image, you can see that there are some green and red areas, which shows that it is not good, reliable enough to be used in the assembly. So we made some modifications into that. And the second image is the new part that we used. As you can see, it is comparatively, it has less of the redder areas. So, and the factor of safety is in the range that we want. So now we can be sure that it is reliable enough to be used on the assembly. Yeah, so this was the final design, final part that we used. Yeah, here you can see this part on the arm. This is a detailed version of the assembly here. So when you're assembling, it's not just like you don't first make every part and then start assembling. It works kind of simultaneously. So there are two approaches for that. One for assembly, one is top down and one is bottom up. So in top down, first you will make the main frame or the main body, and then go into the detailed assembly. For example, here first I will make the link here, and then go to the motor assembly and the nuts and bolts. In bottom up assembly, first I'll create the base, for example, the motor here, and then go to the main frame and the body structure. So now Fenley will tell us more about like how to create assemblies in SolidWorks. Yeah, Fenil.
Oh yeah. So Ayush, am I audible?
Yes, Fenil, you're audible.
Okay. My voice is breaking.
No, it's fine now.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Just a minute. So yeah. Uh, so Hemangi talked about the how to design the parts in the SolidWorks, right? So I'm going to talk about the assembly. So once you start the SolidWorks, so go to new and you will get this window, this three window, and click on the assembly, and you get this window, right? So in the very left side, there is one drop down menu where you can just drag and drop your individual part and just start assembly, or else just browse from your device and just start assembly. So there are two ways basically to start to import the parts. So yeah, 1 minute. Yeah. So basically, this is a final assembly of the arm. So I'm going to tell about the gripper. So there is one part which is left to assemble. So as a time constraint, I am going to tell about the only one parameter of the assembly, like the basics of the assembly, which will include the all this part. And the Hemangi that she made this part, so it is used here as a motor mount, as you can see. Okay. So this is the final output of the assembly, right? So yeah. So as I already opened this part in the assembly. So yeah. So I told you now that there are two ways to import the parts, right? So if the one part is you can just browse from your device, and the other part, if your part is identical, okay, your assembly is identical. Like if you have noticed that in the arm, the gripper has two claws, right? So second claw is the identical, right, about this plane, mid plane, right? So I can just, if I want the same part, so I don't have to each and every time just browse that part and come again. So I just press the control and drag it. Then one minute, just a minute. Yeah, then it will make copy of it. Okay, so it doesn't matter. I can make n number of copy of this part to use this, right? So it is very time, like it is time efficient. Okay, so this part you have seen here, right? So I can move it by dragging in and around, right? But I can't move this part. Okay, so in the assembly, when you first import the part, so first part will be the fixed part, right? And the other part that will you will import after the first part, that will be a float part. So I can change the float and fixed property from here. Okay. So the fixed part will be fixed at an position and at particular position, and the float part will we have to like concern about relative to the fixed part, right? So the part is here, but the position and the orientation is different, right? So there is one option called the rotate component. So I will be just oriented this part as I want. Okay. So this part is oriented, right? And the most important features of the assembly is the mat. Mat is nothing but basically it will provide the relation between the two bodies and the connection between the two bodies. Like here you can see I can move this assembly. Okay. So I have concerned in such a way that it should move in this way, right? So I have given the concentric and the coincidence and all that mat types. So let's see how to assemble this one. So yeah, just select the both bodies. So both body surface that you want to consent, and SolidWorks will automatically detect the uh, which consent it is. Okay, so here you can see the coincidence. The this consent type is coincidence. So I will click right and see. Now I will move this part, so it will drag on that face. Wait, right? Okay, is dragging on that plane, but those surface are in contact. Okay, no matter where I go and how far I go to the this part, right? Okay, then there are certain other constraints that we need to define to fix this geometry. So I will be selecting this holes, and it will automatically detect this type. This is the concentric type of mat, and I will click right. So it can just rotate our. It can just rotate around it, right? So there is one more left is there is one more mat is left, which is also concentric. So let me just complete it. Yeah. So yeah. So these are the basics mat that you are going to use in initial. So now you can see this. Like I'm moving my gripper as I want to, right? So I can drag any part, any surface in any direction. Wait a minute. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Then there are some other mats too, which is very helpful. So yeah. When you go down, you will find this linear limit where you want to, if you want to, two surfaces are touching with each other, and you have to limit. Like you have any engine assembly, and that piston is moving in linear direction, right? So you have to set any, you want to set any certain limits. So you could set with this linear limit, and there is a one angular limit. So I can just see this part is, wait, this part is like, see, it is rotating about this pivot point, right? So I can constant that angular limit, right? And there are some other and important maths are the mechanical maths. So mechanical maths is basically it will create an mechanical illusion of the part. So that you could know like how your product is going to work and how your mechanical component is going to work. So you might have seen that cam shaft, how cam and pin will move around each other, right? And the gear mats and universal joints. So for example, I have given here the gear mats, right? So in that, if I move one gear, the other gear will move accordingly, right? So yeah, so this is the example of gear mat. So yeah, there are a lot of mats. Once you explore about that, you will get more information. Okay, then yeah, see my body is identical, right? So 1 minute. Yeah, see my body is identical about this plan, right? So I don't want to like I don't want to assemble it twice, right? There is one option called mirror component where I have to just choose one plan and the parts that I want to copy, and it will automatically copy those mats in the other side. And there are some basic features like smart fastener where our body is assembled, right? But there are some details is left. Like I want to if I want to import some fasteners, okay, and the bearing inside this yeah over here. I want to import the bearings and the fastener. So fastener I can import from here. I just have to select this surface, and then it will automatically calculate the radius of the hole, and then automatically it will select the uh, bolt type and all this thing. So yeah, and for the assembly, if you want any reference, like uh, this face is away from other face, about this plan, right? So this type of reference, if you want, you can just import the import geometry option, and where you can just create one plan and extend around the any part you want. And assembly is also provide the basic features that you have used in the part design, right? So you could just perform the basic features like chamfer and the cut extrude and all this stuff. Yeah. So yeah, and so about the fasteners, there is one way to like smart fastener which will automatically generate. And if you want to like do it by manual, so you don't have to design each and every bolt. So if it is big assembly, as you have seen that arm, so there are a lot of number of bolts at the same size. It is being used, right? So it is not convenient way. So there is one interesting part that SolidWorks provide is the design library. 1 minute. Yeah. So design library, and there is you could find the toolbox in which they have given the different types of unit standard and different types of company, and even the different companies which is specialized in those products. So I'm going to choose the matrix. Then you will find this basic mechanical component, the bearings and nuts and power transmission gears and the rings and all this. So suppose I'm going to the power transmission and the open the gear, and you will find the different types of gear here, right? So you just have to drag and drop that gear, and you just have to import certain input parameters, and it will create that gear accordingly, right? So it is very quick process, so you can take advantage of it. Then yeah, so after the assembling whole part, we still can't manufacturing our product. To manufacture our product, we must need some geometrical representation of that product, right? So nowadays there are many manufacturing process which is available, like the computer aided manufacturing and all. The basic uh, example of that is CNC VNC machines, right? But otherwise, if you have a mechanical latch and all these things, so you need some geometrical parameters, right, to design this part and all these things. So for that, you need drafting and the drawing of the your wait a minute, drawing of
Let's
your
talk about
assembly and the your part, right? It is kind of messed up, but okay, let's move. So just go to here. Yeah, open, make drawing from this part and assembly. Just click on that, and it will ask you for the paper size, which is nothing but the A4 size paper and A2 size paper. So choose accordingly. Okay. So yeah, it has already created the different types of view, which is standard views system, like a bottom top and isometrics and right back front views. So I can import any one of those and drag and drag it down here. So it will create one, you know, kind of sketch of that particular view. And I can also create some other sketch related to that main sketch, and also the isometric view of that part. Okay. So yeah. So here you have the sketch, right? So if you want to attach some notes and label some things, right? I want to label this thing like this part is made up of aluminum, and I want to attach those notes. So I can go to the annotations and I can attach those notes and the labeling, and yeah. And in the smart dimension feature, you could just have to select the both reference lines, and it will give the dimensions of that part. Yeah. So that is all for the assembly part design in the drawings. So the next part is the manufacturing, right? So this is the final assembly. So this is very, you know, this assembly has more than 200, 300 parts. So it is very difficult to remember all those parts and how many number of parts have you used, which is different and which is same. So there is one option called the bill of material. So where you have to just click on that, and then it will generate material bill of the parts and all the different types of components which being used in the assembly. And also you could just see here in the left side, you will get this drop down menu, and where there are different parts which is available. Okay. See, I'm selecting this part, which is highlighting me over there. Okay. So you can see, so keep track on those parts, like how many parts you have imported. And here is the mat list, from where you could see the how many relations you have provided between the bodies and all those things. So I guess I covered almost all these things. So let me get back to the PPT. Yeah, just a minute. Yeah. Ayush, is it visible? Hello, Ayush?
yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, fine. Yeah, yeah, fine, fine. Thank you. So after assembling the part, so we'll perform the analysis and simulations. So we have already performed the individual parts, like analysis for the individual part, and then at the end of the assembly, we also have to make sure that there is no glitch, technical glitch, or any structural instability in there. So to make sure that you have to again analyze and simulation the part. So for the simulation, there is one option called motion analysis. In that, you could just provide the motor to the part, and it will show that how your part is going to, like, you have to give certain limits, and it will come up with the one GIF and the video type of kind of thing. Then you can analyze the, like, parts are not clashing and all this stuff. So yeah, drafting we have discussed, and the manufacturing. After the in the manufacturing, like you have many options. Like the basics one is are the additive manufacturing, then subtractive manufacturing, then casting and the forming and etc. So sheet metal kind of things comes under the forming and all this, and the subtractive is basically CNC VNC machines, and the additive is the nowadays the most famous 3D printing process, which is the additive type of manufacturing process. So you have to choose manufacturing process accordingly as per on it. Then yeah, so I guess I have covered the all this thing. Yeah, I hope it was a very informative session for the beginners, and I hope I have covered the all those basic stuff. Yeah, so we are open for the questions. Feel free to ask the questions. Yeah, Ayush, can you make can you just repeat me the questions that they have asked earlier?
Yeah, the question was, can you show the difference between the initial and the final design? I
Oh,
got
just a minute. Oh, just a minute. I'm presenting. Just a minute.
Please drop your questions in the chat box.
Okay. So this is the initial design. Okay. So there are some parts. So main parts is this the around the holes, right? So the thickness of that part. So in the final part, we have increased the thickness a little bit. So it might not be the noticeable, but yeah, it is. So it may vary according to the different types of parts and the different types of products. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yes, there is a section question from Manisha Banya. Is SolidWorks more flexible than CATIA?
Actually, no, it is depending on the users, like how. Like I have very good hand on the SolidWorks, so I don't like Katia anymore. So, but yeah, one more thing is the SolidWorks is more user friendly than Katia. So it is the latest version of the the same company have released two software. So SolidWorks is the latest. So yeah, it is more flexible and it gives you more uh, options and time saving process. But also it is depending on you, like what you want to choose. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah. So since it is the very introductory session, so I could not provide you the whole details structures like how Solid works, each and every mats and the tools, how it is going to work, right? So you could just follow the YouTube channels. Like SolidWorks also have their official YouTube channel. You could just search on the YouTube, and there are certain good channels like Go Engineer and the CAD/CAM tutorials, so you can follow them to learn more about this. And also, we'll be uploading our webinar in upcoming week, so you could find it in our channel also.
Manish, there is one more question
Yeah,
from Gaurav Khanna. So it's
yeah.
additive. What do you think about 3D printing metal?
3D printing metal. Yeah, I guess it is the future of the additive manufacturing, but like right now it is under development, so it is very costly. But in the plastic and all the PVC types and all those stuff, it is very good. So at an industrial level, it is not affordable to the every industry, right? So yeah, it is very costly process.
The next question is from Subham Saurabh. Do you guys face problem related to vibration and acoustics? Which tool could be used for simulation and analysis for the same other than ANSYS? or could you just tell us how do you tackle such problem?
Uh, Actually, this problem, like being faced by the we have faced this problem, so we can fix it by the by precision. We can increase the we can make our design better, by increasing the which yeah precision, not precision exactly, but the post transmission and all those things. So we can increase the thickness and all those things. But I don't know about the software other than SolidWorks. So yeah, I can't. I'm not the right person to answer this question.
You can also use Fusion 360. It has some
Yeah,
really good simulations, like
yeah.
especially if you don't have much. It basically calculates the whole simulation thing on cloud and not on your computer. So
Oh yeah,
even if it takes time and it takes memory, the detailed analysis can be done better than SolidWorks on Fusion.
yeah, yeah. SolidWorks also has the cloud computing, but the cloud-based service, but it is paid. It is not free of cost. Why is
I think
resin?
Gaurav is quite much interested in 3D printing, so he's asking one more question. Why is resin used in 3D printing? Resin
So
used in 3D printing.
oh, man, I have no idea about that because we have never tried that.
Which is
So
I might like to answer that question, Fenil,
oh
if
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah, fine, fine, fine. Yeah, go ahead, Sukham.
uh, so. There are a lot of 3D printing methods. One of them is using the resins. So those resins are UV curable resins. Basically, what it does is, uh, in that technology, there is uh, a pool of UV curable resin, and then there is a LCD screen that basically blocks the particular pixels that has not to be cured, and the pixel that has to be cured uh, is not kept in the active state. So basically light can pass through it, and then there is a illumination source below that LCD uh, that emits UV light. When the UV light hits the resin, it cures that and basically solidifies that. So layer by layer it is done. So there are like different types of 3D printers. One of them is resin 3D printer. The most commonly used and the one that you can find anywhere is basically uh, I forgot the name. What was the name? Basically, we use the filament. There is solid plastic that is melted at a particular temperature and then printed layer by layer.
Yeah, anything else?
which is the best 3D library?
Or you mean by 3D library? Like so
That
online?
is a good one. SolidWorks provides its own 3D library also.
Yeah. Mm. Okay. Any other questions? Which techniques give better parts, FDM or lithography?
See, at present, if you'll see, then we get great parts from both of the methods. In
Mm.
FDM, now you can you have the capability of printing carbon fiber filaments, then metal infused filaments. So there are a lot of capabilities in FDM too. In case of lithography, since they are resins and resins are basically strong, if you see of the resolution is much better in lithography than FDM. So depends on your particular need, and also there are certain resins that are now available in the market that have quite high tensile strength. So totally depends on your application. One more thing is that FDM is relatively cheaper and like more accessible. So that is one more point to consider.
Any other question, guys?
Oh yeah, the terraforming, right? So yeah, I heard about that. So it was basically like, so, so what is the question? I don't get it. Yeah, Anurup, yeah.
Was there a question about terraforming?
Yeah, can you elaborate the question, Gav?
I'm not able to find it.
Okay, just a minute. He's finding.
Meanwhile, guys, please fill the feedback form.
I would like to answer that question.
Yeah,
How
sure.
do you know what material to use? So, uh, once you are manufacturing something, so there are certain parameters that you need to consider. One of them is the weight of your product. Like, there are certain parameters that you need to consider, and that one is the weight, then is the dimension, and then one of very important factors is the cost. So according to the cost and the availability of the material, see, not all materials are easily machinable or manufacturable. So totally depends on the application. For example, I'll give a simple example. The links of the robotic arm, uh, those can be made out of uh, say aluminium or nylon or carbon fiber, but uh, the variation in the cost, the strength that they offer, and then the manufacturing process that we have available with us vary quite differently for like each and everyone. You can't drill the carbon fiber directly because it will basically destroy the fiber structure and
Sure.
make your structure weak. Then in case of nylon, it is very easy to manufacture. So we can use that in many places. Then same goes with aluminium. You can use aluminium, but then it adds to the weight. So considering all those parameters, we basically decide on that.
Yeah, and add on to that, the main parameter is the condition, the operational condition. So temperature is playing the major role. If you want to like design the furnace, right? So you should have the one material which has the temperature capability, right? Thermal capability, very high thermal capability. And if you want to design any fuel tank, the liquid oxygen tank, and all these things. So you can't use the normal material. So there are many materials which is specially made for this application. So you have to go on that range, and then you have to consider all those costs and all parameters. So yeah, Greg, your question is mine. The NASA sent two rovers that were semi-autonomous. So why didn't they just send a fully autonomous vehicle? Is it because of the material requirement or something? No, no, no. It is not depending on the material requirement, but it is about like they are investing the billions of dollars, and they have the faith on their computers and programs, but still there are some uncertainties there, right? So I guess that is the reason about the fully autonomous vehicle. And the next is,
One more point that I would like to add is,
yeah,
see, even if right now like we have a detailed map of the Mars, but what samples you have to collect and what to analyze, that can be decided once you are there on the particular site. So those are basically like sometimes decided afterwards too.
Yeah.
Like the landing site and the testing sites are decided, but at the same time there would be certain things that can be done afterwards. And also there's a expected life given to the rovers. So in that duration it has a particular mission to complete. Once that is done, but if it is still operational, you would want it to do more tests and collect more data. So that might also be the reason.
Yeah. And the next question is Nischay by the Nischay. How much performance difference did you find in simulation and the real performance? So since like it depending on the applications, but if you have all this data and the you have all these conditions, like for our case, like to calculate the traction on the wheels. So there are we have to make lot of assumptions to calculate the theoretical like friction of the soil and all those stuff. So it is the value is not very accurate. So simulation on in those cases, simulation will be like it is not purely predictive, like it is not really same with the manufacturing. So yeah, but mostly around the 80%, 90%, but it depends on the product and depends on the available data.
Yeah, one of the reason for that is due to manufacturing faults, because we can't manufacture 100% accurate
Exactly. Yeah,
parts. So yeah, it also creates the vibrations and all that.
yeah.
Any other questions?
Okay, it is totally okay to ask this question, no problem.
So I think there is no more questions from participant side. Okay, you have one.
Yeah, yeah. So shall we wind up?
So I think there is no question. Okay. Thank you, Fanil and Himangi.
Yeah. Thank you so much everyone to join this to give some time to our workshop. I hope
Oh,
you find it very convenient for the beginners.
yeah. And
Thank you.
I'm also sharing all the required link which you might have required. The feedback form, reference video, and we also have the upcoming webinars. So if you guys haven't registered, please register for the webinars. We have the ultimate, we have circuit designing like ultimate PCB designing, another webinar too. And please follow us on Instagram and Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Uh,
Uh,
which where can I find tutorial?
sorry,
Which,
full
yeah,
tutorial you are.
yeah. Which tutorial? If you have any. Okay. No, we don't have any tutorials, but we will upload this video on the YouTube. No, we have suggested some channels, right? YouTube channels, so you could follow that one. AutoCAD for the AutoCAD and all this. That
You
link
can
is given below. Right?
you can also go on the SolidWorks official website. They have some learning resources for and videos for that.
Yeah. I suggest the AutoCAD is the best beginning site or beginning software. So yeah, start with those.
And one more thing, we are going to upload all our webinar videos on the YouTube channel. So please subscribe
Yeah.
our channel. The link is
And
given in the chat box. Thank you
so,
guys. Thank you very much.
no,
I
thank
hope
you
you
very
guys.
much. Yeah.
So we can wind up the session. Thank you.